fair? Good evening, good evening. Is it audible? Everything fair? People are not replying. Is everything fair? Good evening. Is it audible? Everything fair? रिप्लाई करने में भी इतना एफर्ट लगता है क्या? हाँ? कौन लिखे इतना है? कोई तो लिख देगा, अपन तो केवल पढ़ने आए हैं तो है। सही है। Anyways. चल। So today we are gonna start a new chapter. Hope you people will be enjoying that. I'll be trying to go with like the systematic learning which I follow for every topic. So this topic as well will be like comprehended, right? I don't know how you understand the uniform convergence, but I would like to tell you today altogether a comprehensive perspective when you talk about simple sequences, when you talk about series, when you talk about sequences of functions, when you talk about series of functions. The very good thing is we are going through already with the definitions parts of sequences and series. Every term with the theoretical conceptual understanding we are done now. Okay? So now things are gonna just reflection of those. Be it the uniform convergence or be the convergence of improper integral. So lectures are designed like sequences and series we have done. Today we will do the UC part. Tomorrow we will do the convergence of improper integral. And day after tomorrow we will have a PYQ session for convergence. Be it sequence, series, UC, improper. You people will find you have done sufficient job. There is nothing to read much about. Like there is nothing left now. Okay. So just wait a minute. Sure. Everyone, be on the word please. Why this uniform convergence comes into the picture, right? So अभी हम इसको विजुअलाइज करने की कोशिश करेंगे. Be on the word please everyone. ध्यान से देखिएगा. Till now we have studied क्या क्या पढ़ चुके हैं? We have studied real sequences, we have studied real infinite series. So when you talk about real sequences, generally we had a sequence like xn equals some constant term, right? A1, A2, an, those are represented by x1 the first term, x2 action, like that. So in case of real sequences, we found a sequence is nothing but simply a function from set of natural numbers to the set of real numbers. So that is a real sequence, right? Then we went on series. So when I talked about series, I told you a series is a special kind of sequence, right? What I told you? A series is a special kind of sequence that is called sequence of partial sums. We represented by Sn, right? So these are the definitions part. So dear fellows, if you feel like कि सर वापस से एक ही चीज को बार बार बोल रहे हैं करके, I don't know how you studied that, but this is the right way to prepare, right way to learn systematically. We have to connect the dots ultimately. Okay. So definitions of real sequences and infinite series we learned. After that, we went on convergence, right? So when I talked you, ध्यान से देखिए, uniform convergence will be just a reflection of this. Only the sequence of functions will be here. But before that, we have to revise everything here. So when we talk about convergence, okay. So let's say first we talk about convergence of a sequence xn. So how we say a sequence xn is said to be convergent if for every given epsilon greater than 0. अभी many of you might be thinking कि सर आप इतने बार इसको लिख चुके हैं कि अभी छप गया है. What I feel अभी थोड़ा बचा है छपने को. Because if you observe the PYQs, be it forest services, be it CSE, sometimes they are asking you to give the proof of the thing what you are using for this convergence. And proof is completely sorted once you are in the habit of writing these definitions. So I feel like you. That is why again and again I am putting the things. So if for every given epsilon greater than 0, there exists some finite positive integer such that modulus of xn minus L is less than epsilon for n greater or equal to m. So a sequence is said to be convergent. तो इसको क्या बोलते हैं? Converges to L as well. Where this can also be written like the xn lying between L plus epsilon to L plus L minus epsilon L plus epsilon for n greater or equal to m. This is also written as limit n tends to infinity xn equals to L. Right? अब देखिए, when you talk about convergence of a series, so a series obviously infinite series होगा तो हमेशा ही convergent होगा because sum of that series will be a finite number. So an infinite series summation n going from 1 to infinity UN is said to be convergent if if the sequence of partial sums that we represent by Sn is convergent. So sequence Sn converges to S. This implies Sn minus S less than epsilon for n greater or equal to m. Moreover, we say here कि summation n going from 1 to infinity un का value comes out as capital S. So these are some things which we have already at our hand, and now we are gonna learn about uniform convergence. देखिए ध्यान से, if you talk about sequences के लिए, तो example में if you observe, ध्यान से देखना, xn may be like 1, minus 1, 2, 3, minus 3, minus 4, or so on. A series un may be like 1 plus 1 by 2 plus 1 by 3 or so on. So sequence and series are like that. Fair? अब समझना बात को. Why we study the uniform convergence? Be on the board please everyone. इधर आइए सब लोग अभी. देखिए ध्यान से. What I am giving you, I am giving you some functions here. Let's say we consider some function fn x as x square upon 1 plus x square का power n. One more function we can consider here as fn x equals sin nx upon root n. ध्यान से देखते हैं ना इस बात को, और एकदम से क्रिस्टल क्लियर चीजें निकल कर आएंगी. अभी व्हाट आई डू, be on the board please everyone. We can consider fn x as x का power n as well. Obviously n belongs to natural number or whatever you take, that we will see later on. देखिए ध्यान से, I have a function which I represented by this. Now let's consider a sequence. ध्यान से देखना. Now let's consider a sequence that I represent by fn x. फिर अभी क्या बन जाएगा? So if you talk about sequence, so obviously this will be all about f1x, f2x and so on. Sequence का term. For example, if I define for this, clear? So this will be f1 क्या हो जाएगा? x square upon 1 plus x square. X square upon 1 plus x square का whole square and so on. What else we can do? Let's consider a series. कौन सा series? Summation n going from 1 to infinity fn x. So this ultimately converted to x square upon 1 plus x square upon check it out dear fellows. I guess now the things will be clearly reflected for you. देखिए ध्यान से, if you observe when we started studying about sequences, I started taking like this, means constant values we have taken and we studied. Series के अंदर these constant values we have taken and we studied. In series, in some examples where x was introduced, previous lecture we have done, so those may be considered as series of functions as well. Today we will consider those again. अभी आप यहाँ पर देखिए, if you observe this sequence f and x, dear fellows, this is the first term, but this is a function. This is the second term of the sequence, but is a function, and so on. If you talk about this series, so this series ka first term is a function, series ka second term is a function, and so on. So what basically in uniform convergence or the pointwise convergence is a part of this, what we talk about actually is, suppose that I have considered sequence f and x like this. Now I want to check the convergence of sequence f and x for some x belongs to interval a comma b. Getting my point? We want to check the convergence of this series summation f and x for x belonging to some interval a comma b. This convergence is discussed as like uniform convergence for the sequence or series of functions. Is that clear or not? So thing is, what we talk about, now we are interested in discussing convergence, that is called pointwise convergence and uniform convergence of given sequence and series of functions for x belonging to some interval a comma b. Check out please, everyone. So I hope whatever we had like carried from here itself, the same things will be reflected here as well. So no matter proofs are like here asked or there asked, the basic things we have to carry these. So I hope you will note down every word here, and this will create a more crystal clear picture. Please. that noted? Fair. Okay. Now some more beautiful results I'm gonna discuss for you. Okay. Why this uniform convergence and pointwise convergence is so important? Why there are some topics like pointwise convergence and uniform convergence studied, and how they are gonna impact about the integrability, about the differentiability of sequence of functions. Fair? So now this chapter is gonna be more interested. Fair? चलिए अभी देखिए ध्यान से. Everybody be on the board. Suppose that you have a sequence of functions now. This is noted, right? So by these basic fundamentals, I am gonna reflect the things over here now. Fair? थोड़ा सा I will be slow in today's lecture क्योंकि ये टॉपिक इतना प्यारा है. I don't want to miss anything, है ना. चलिए बी ऑन द बोर्ड प्लीज एवरीवन. आराम आराम से सीखेंगे, ठीक है. चलो देखिए ध्यान से. Now we have sequence or series of functions. Let's start. किसके बारे में? Sequence of functions. Let's study sequence of functions first, and then we will move for series of functions as well. The same things will be reflected. चलिए ध्यान से देखें. So number first thing is definition, है ना. If the sequence of functions that is f and x defined for x belonging to closed interval a comma b, it is said to be convergent, or this converges to function f of x if for every given epsilon greater than 0 there exists m belongs to natural number or set of positive integers, obviously depending on epsilon. These words we have been doing from epsilon delta definition of limit itself, differential calculus, right? Depending on epsilon, such that modulus of f and x minus f of x is less than epsilon for n greater or equal to m. भाई क्या मीनिंग हुआ इसका? f and x lying between f of x plus epsilon. Here it is f of x minus epsilon. For what? For n greater or equal to m. Until now we have a great feeling for this m, all but finitely many, right? चलिए This can also be represented by limit n tending to infinity fn x comes out as f of x. So these all are exam points for you, right or not? Now, here it is for, please underline this word. Okay. Chalo. Note. Now, suppose that if sequence f and x fails to be convergent, also called uniform convergent, still we may have an interesting case to discuss. And what is that case? That is more beautiful. देखना ध्यान से. Be on the board, please, everyone. Suppose that this does not hold for all x belongs to a comma b. Now we are interested. Do it hold for some point? Does it hold? What is the question? Does it hold for some particular point x naught in the interval a comma b? Now we are interested in that. Means, देखिए ध्यान से, that is, we have a sequence now as, ध्यान से देखना, sequence fn x naught, that will be f1 x naught, f2 x naught, f3 x naught, fn x naught, and so on. And similarly, you can talk about series as well. No issue at all. Right. For example, be on the board, please, everyone. Suppose that, ध्यान से देखिएगा. For example, if we talk about, let's say this, इसके बारे में बात करते हैं, ठीक है? For example, we talk about sequence fn, किसके बारे में? Let's say 0 पे बात करते हैं. For fnx this, so let's say sin 0x upon root n, उसमें तो सारा 0 0 मिल जाएगा, ठीक है? sin 0x fnx, so this is 1, this is root 2. For example, you can talk about fn pi by 2. So this will be a sequence. 0 0 0 0. The next sequence you can create fn pi by 2. X की जगह pi by 2, right? So this will become sin pi by 2 divided by under root 1. Sin 2 pi by 2 root 2. Sin 3 pi by 2 root 3, and so on. Check it out, please. And here the story is same as which we have already discussed for real sequences. Are you getting my point? सभी लोग ध्यान से समझिए इस चीज को. So if you observe more about this sequence, this will be converging or may not be converging. यहाँ पे देखिए, fn 0 वाला sequence converges to 0, whereas fn pi by 2 may not converge to 0. May not, I'm saying. fn pi, fn 3 pi by 4, fn pi by 6, and so on. Different kind of sequences we can write for different values of x in the given interval or not. अब देखिए ध्यान से, समझना बात को। If this sequence converges, we say the sequence fnx, we say the sequence fnx converges pointwise at the point x equals to 0. Suppose that this sequence converges, we will say this sequence converges pointwise at the point x equals to pi by 2. If this sequence converges for all values of x in the given interval, we will say the sequence of functions is uniformly convergent. Is the picture clear or not, everyone? पूरा एकदम विश्वास के साथ कहिए, point wise convergent, uniformly convergent. Is that clear or not? The words I will write later on, you can write it down please. आराम से लिखिए इसको. If you have any doubt, please ask. Surely Vishal, only x belongs to closed interval. That may depend on me. Whatever interval is given to you, not a matter at all. Suppose that minus 1 to 1 closed is given, so you will check at all points those. What is happening? You getting? Yes, Shibu Jaishwal. Yes. Pointwise convergence means you are checking the sequence of functions only at that particular point. Uniform convergence means the convergence happens for all points of the given interval. Baki, I would like to suggest you please be in the habit of writing these definitions. You know, आजकल मेरे पास उतना टाइम नहीं है, फिर भी I'm not skipping anything. The reason being, this lecture series is all about this only, conceptual decoding systematically, right? So please don't avoid writing these things. Everyone, is that noted? Okay, Amit. Fair. Chale. So write the definition from exam point of view. Write down please. A sequence of functions f n x, a sequence of functions f n x, or a series of functions summation n going from 0 to infinity or 1 to infinity, whatever you write, f n x defined for x belongs to a comma b is said to be, that's करके number first, pointwise convergent, said to be pointwise convergent at x naught belonging to the interval a comma b if sequence f n x naught converges series f n x naught converges. Clear? Number second, uniformly convergent for x belongs to a comma b if sequence f n x converges for all series so this is the overall picture which I am able to create after 30 minutes of discussion approx. Yeah. But that I am pretty sure after today's lecture you will have no confusion in your mind कि what is pointwise convergent, what is uniform convergent. That I am pretty sure. Series of functions हो सकता है, sequence of functions हो सकता है. Please note down that. चलिए, so let's try to visualize this कि pointwise convergence means what, like that. Yeah, is that noted? चलिए, देखेंगे प्यारे बच्चों, कोई भी एग्जांपल, लेट्स से इसी को उठा लेते हैं. Let's consider a series of functions summation and going from 1 to infinity, or fnx, like whatever you start, fnx, where fnx is given by x square upon 1 plus x square का power n. ध्यान से देखना प्यारे बच्चों. Everyone, give the word please. देखिए ध्यान से सभी लोग. If you observe summation n going from 1 to infinity fnx, that is n going from 1 to infinity, that is x square upon 1 plus x square the whole square check it out. ये क्या है? Clearly it is a geometric series. Right on. It is a geometric series with common ratio 1 upon 1 plus x square, and its summation is the function, let's say उसको मैंने बोल दिया f of x. ठीक है? If you do a upon 1 minus r, geometric series करते हैं ना? चलिए, देखिए ध्यान से. But if we observe above series at x equals to 0, क्या मिलेगा? Summation n going from 1 to infinity fn at 0, that will be summation n going from 1 to infinity 0 upon 1 plus 0 square का power n, that is 0 plus 0 plus 0, and that comes out as 0. Are you getting my point? That means क्या हुआ इसका मतलब? That is the limit sum, इसको बोलते हैं the limit sum. The limit sum of given series is f of x equals 1 plus x square when x is non-zero, and it is 0 when x equals to 0. ध्यान से देखना प्यारे बच्चों. if I ask you fn1, so this will converge to 1 or not, because 1 plus 1 is square. fn 1 by 2000, आराम से देखिए आप, समेशन fn1 क्या मिल जाएगा आपको, चेक इट आउट, 1 plus 1 square that is 2, समेशन fn at -1 क्या मिल जाएगा, समेशन fn at 1 by 2, so 1 plus 1 by 4 and so on, summation fn0 that is 0. क्या हो रहा है, fnx जो सीरीज है that is converging point wise to different functions. If this series would have converged at a unique function f of x, then only we will say the series converges uniformly to f of x, otherwise not. So what we will say, clearly summation fnx is pointwise convergent but not uniformly converges to f of x. Check it out, please. आराम से देखिए, if you have any doubt you can ask. Please write down properly everything. Is that done? Okay, yes. So write a note, please. देखिए कितना beautiful results मिल रहे हैं अपने को. If you observe this limit function, my dear fellows, be on the board, please, everyone. Observe this limit function, f of x. क्या ये 0 पर कंटिन्यूअस है? The function f of x is continuous at x equals to 0? Question mark. बोलिए बोलिए. बात समझ में आ रही है क्या पूछ रहा हूं मैं? Is this function continuous at x equals to 0? नो. बढ़िया. लिखिए नोट करके. The more intuition you will get. Write a note, please. Please note. We can observe that above limit function f of x equals is not continuous at x equals to 0. It creates more interest to discuss about effect of अपने आप चैप्टर खुलता है, राइट? इफ यू आर कंसेप्चुअली सॉलिड ना, अपने आप चैप्टर खुलेगा. इफेक्ट ऑफ यूनिफॉर्म कन्वर्जेंस एंड पॉइंटवाइज कन्वर्जेंस on continuity of f of x. लिख दीजिए. Are you getting my point? Yes. So no one will be there कि जो आपको बताए अच्छा ये टॉपिक है. अरे अपने आप एक्सप्लोर करेंगे ना भाई, क्या पढ़ना है पूरे चैप्टर में. Getting my point? So one more beautiful observation is waiting for us. Clear? देखिए. So what I can say, if you observe here fn0, right? Observe sequence fn0 convergence point of view. ठीक, if you observe fn0, this is convergent to, but is it convergent? Does not converge. Fair? So again, अब हम किसमें इंटरेस्टेड हैं? So we are interested in studying impact of uniform convergence and pointwise convergence on differentials. Right? Chemistry Joshi. Did you get the way to study the chapter uniform convergence? Everyone? Chale. So that is the beauty of systematic learning. You feel the topic actually. Abhi, let's summarize. Let's bind up the planner for this chapter. Please note down. Is that noted? Okay, yes. Clear? So, what is the block 1 of the chapter? चलिए, you know what, please everyone? फटाफट लिखते जाएंगे मेरे साथ, मतलब आपको जितना मेरी जरूरत थी दैट इज डन। अब आपको मैंने वहां पहुंचा दिया जहां फॉर्मूला लगाओ आंसर पाओ। ठीक है, Please keep writing with me. इसको इतनी बार लिखिए कि छप जाए दिमाग में. And write down these exam points as well. This will be enough. लिख देंगे इसको. So whatever seems to be easy while calculating the problem, either writing this or writing this or finding the limit, whatever any of the three suits you in the problem solving, you can try any of that. Like अगर आपने limit find कर लिया उसके through या whatever way it suits you. चेक आउट प्लीज. आराम से लिखिए, कुछ तनाव लेने की जरूरत नहीं है उसमें. बहुत ही इजी. इवन एक बार इसका प्रूफ भी पूछा था फॉर सर्विसेज में रिसेंटली, आई गेस 21 और 22. यू कैन चेक. बट दैट इज वेरी इजी, वेरी इजी. आई एम सेइंग आप इसको एक बार लिखिए, फिर मैं उसको दिखाता हूं. एंड आई विल शो यू व्हाट इज द ब्यूटी ऑफ लर्निंग डेफिनेशंस. that noted? That is written as supremum value. Supremum. Supremum. Okay, yes. अभी देखेंगे why I'm talking about कि proofs are so easy. देखिए, give the word please everyone. देखना ध्यान से, इसका प्रूफ करते हैं. Everyone, give the word please. Definitions का क्या ब्यूटी है दिखाते हैं. क्या कहा? Let fn be a sequence such that this is given to us, right? देखना ध्यान से. Since अपने को given क्या है? Limit n tending to infinity fn x is f of x. Say yes or no? ये दिया है ना. चलो, और क्या दिया है? mn is the supremum value. किसका? Supremum means maximum. The difference of fn x minus f of x. Let if fn uniformly converges to f of x. So by definition, be on the left side. So by definition, for every epsilon greater than 0, there exists some finite positive integer n such that किस टाइप का होगा? Modulus of fn x minus f of x is less than epsilon for n greater or equal to m. Right? This implies as an expression fn x lying between किसके लिए? For all n greater or equal to, for all. Wow. Fn x lying between this and this for all. This implies, ध्यान से देखिए, this implies limit n tends to infinity. ध्यान से देखिए इस चीज को. Limit n tends to infinity modulus of fn x minus f of x. Clear है? This will tend to 0 for all n greater or equal to m. So this will imply further supremum, or you can say the maximum x belongs to a modulus of fn x minus f of x, that will also tend to 0 or not. So this implies limit n tending to infinity mn equals to 0. So this is just the interpretation of definition, nothing more than that. ठीक है? And अभी अब आपको लगेगा कि other way round, क्योंकि if and only if है, please underline, it is if and only if, so the other way round will also be correct. लिख दीजिए आराम से. So this is sufficient proof for your exam hall as well. Means if this holds, then we have proved this. If we have taken this, then this holds, then this holds, then this holds, then this, then this. So forest services में एक बार इसका proof पूछा है. Rest of the things 90% PYQs will be solved by formula only. Formula means this MN test. Mn equals सुप्रीमम ना समझ में आए तो लिख लीजिए Mn is the maximum value of Fnx, चाहे तो लिख लेंगे इसके लिए Mn is maximum of modulus of Fnx minus F. So this is just a problem of maxima minima. Okay. स्टार मार्क कर लीजिए. Because this is just a function, right? Is that noted, everyone? So just part 1 is the sequence of functions. The next is series of functions. So whatever we have studied for sequences, the same thing is reflected here. Whatever we have studied for series, the same thing will help us here in checking the uniformly convergence, right? So I would like to write that statement as well, series of functions, so that theory is over at least. उसके बाद में just examples रह जाएंगे, वो हम अभी कर लेंगे उनको एक एक करके. पहले I would like to draw a clear cut picture for uniform convergence. देवू चलिए. So my dear fellows, now in the part 2 of the block, we are interested in series of functions. Series of function. So number first is by the definition. Other is the S. Okay, same things. अब देखिएगा. Whatever we have learned, the definitions for series of functions, the same thing will be reflected here. That is why when I started today's lecture, I have revised everything. What does it mean by convergence of a series? Right or not? So here, if you talk about, देखिएगा ध्यान से, Obviously, we are talking about functions, so uniform. What will happen? देखिए ध्यान से. For series already studied, कल हमने पढ़ा था Sn is what? U1 plus U2 plus Un. So Sn plus P is what? Yesterday only we have done this, right? Yeah. So अभी क्या होगा? The same thing, whatever we have talked for this, the same thing can be reflected here. So let if S and X represent F1x plus F2x plus Fnx. Please keep writing with me because we have developed this habit. There exists M such that same thing. But why I'm writing like this? Because you have to develop this habit. इससे पहले भी आप लोगों ने पढ़ा होगा. I don't know, like what is the feelings you carry? Can you share your feelings? Persons who have studied this chapter earlier as well. Please say something about your feelings before ending this lecture. It is not about praising myself, me. I'm just asking कि क्या क्या डाउट्स आपके रहते थे उस टाइम और क्या वो आज क्लियर हो पाए. So just put your feelings here. Like यूनिफॉर्म कन्वर्जेंस आपने पहले भी पढ़ा होगा. क्या अभी कुछ हमने उसमें ऐड ऑन किया है या कुछ और ऐसा है जो अभी भी आपको समझना है कि सर ये मैंने वहां पढ़ा था लेकिन समझ नहीं आया. So you are free to say. Okay, please write down this. Again, 90% of the series का PYQs will be solved by this formula. Yeah. So mark star here, that is important step here. This is also very important to notice. Check out this. So वहां पे एम एन टेस्ट था, यहाँ पे वेयरस्ट्रास एम टेस्ट होता है. प्लीज नोट डाउन. अरे भाई लेक्चर चल रहा है क्या, तुम लोग उबाल मचा रखा है ग्रुप में. भाई when you talk about the class 0 or the class 1 itself, you have to talk about classes के बीच में intersection, ना कि sets के बीच में intersection. Okay, a class itself represent a set S1, and what you people are thinking about intersection between S1 or some other class का set S2, it is not like that. You have to interpret intersection or union, whatever you are talking about, between the classes itself. So once those classes are equal or they represent the same numbers, here in class 0 the 2 does not represent the same number what 2 is represented by another class. Okay, बाकी अभी मेरा लेक्चर चल रहा है. When I'll be free I'll get back to you. Don't increase the chat length please. Is that noted? Sorry. I was replying to some students ने वो ग्रुप में बहुत चिल हो गए. चलिए अब देखिए डियर फेलोस, give the word please everyone. So what to do now? If you observe here, there exists, please underline this, double underline. There exists a convergent series. Fair? So if you observe here, the whole scenario is diverted on the convergence of a series Mn. Mn is a series of constants which we studied in the previous lecture. You getting my point? So write the note please. इसी के continuation में. Now the game is to discuss about infinite series Mn just like previous chapter, infinite series. That's it. So what you have to remember, please mark a star here. You have to remember this test. The ultimate interpretation will be based on your learnings or your understandings about the series itself. Fair? So ये तो definition हमने कल भी discuss किया था. Today again the same things is reflected. Write an exam point please. Uniform convergence imply pointwise convergence. Okay. Pointwise convergence need not imply uniform convergence. So this is the whole theory of this chapter. बाकी वो जो इंटेग्रल और डिफरेंशियल के बारे में जो बात की थी, दैट इज ऑल अबाउट कि इफ सीक्वेंस ऑफ फंक्शंस इज, आप चाहे तो लिख लीजिए, इफ सीक्वेंस ऑफ फंक्शंस इज यूनिफॉर्मली कन्वर्जेंट or series of functions is uniformly convergent, then those differentials, integrals will also be holded, or continuity of the limit function. ठीक है? So the derivations and all they didn't ask till now in the exam. If you are interested further about those continuity of limit function, differentials of limit function, integral of limit function, all those explanations are given in the Malik Arora book. If you have time, you can go through those just for once. Otherwise, when we will do the PYQs session, you will realize till now whatever we have done, things are sufficient. So abhi we will see few examples फटाफट कि how these tests and all works. I hope this one noted, right? Have noted? लिख लीजिए इसको, फिर जल्दी से एग्जांपल्स कर देते हैं. अभी तो काम आसान है, अब कुछ भी टेंशन नहीं है. चलिए, so let's have one by one. अभी तो क्या प्रोटोटाइप एग्जांपल्स उठाते हैं जल्दी से. So example 1. You on the board please. Test for uniform convergence. Test for uniform convergence. The sequence Fn where Fnx is nx upon 1 plus n square x square for all real values of x. One thing I would like to tell you, my dear fellows, होता क्या है, when you go by the definition, then taking the epsilon, choosing that m, it all depends on your practice. It is very much possible at the first or second round you may feel कि सर इसको रटना है करके क्या, but once you are indulged into the process you will feel कि अच्छा things are taken like this. So till now whatever the systematic learning we followed, I hope things are pretty clear to all कि कैसे वो epsilon का value पे counter करते हैं, because when I was teaching you differential calculus, their epsilon delta definition के ऊपर we have worked a lot, right? तो अभी इसका फटाफट मैं लिख देता हूँ. Please keep writing. So that is the most crucial step, how you get the idea, and this thing I have been consistently talking from the epsilon delta definition itself. शिबू जायसवाल, अमित, बोलिए हाँ या ना. क्या कहा था? L के बारे में if you have idea, then you try to cross verify whether L is the limit of the function or not. So you should have some idea about कि limit function means किसको converge कर सकता है, because if it is pointwise converging to some function f of x, and if it is uniformly convergent, then it will converge to f of x for all real values of x or whatever the given domain. So we have to have some idea about f of x. Then only we will use the definition wala epsilon wala part, right? Fair. So we have here, अगर हम देखें at x equals to 0, यहाँ पर मार्क द स्टार. दिस नीड्स अ प्रैक्टिस. प्रैक्टिस क्या है, रिवीजन करना होगा बार बार उसको. What I would like to tell you here, being very honest, my dear fellows, I had no idea when, even though I had great interest in the definition, how to proceed such things. I was intense like you, but later on when I analyzed all the PYQs, when I analyzed different kind of books written by different authors, then found कि such examples are so standard in nature कि अपने को we have to practice these 4 to 5 categories of example twice or thrice, and then we have to remember on the practical ground कि इस टाइप के एग्जाम्पल में हम कैसे प्रोसीड करते हैं. But only to be understand the things. So for that we have that much level of understanding about the definitions. You will have no issue. But यहाँ पर I am very practical. भाई मेरे को भी रट्टामार जिंदाबाद करना होगा if I want to deliver this example through the definition in the exam hall. But yes, these things I understand. That is pretty sure. Yes. My goodness. Please write down. Akash Rathore. When I started this batch ना आकाश, I said अगर एक भी स्टूडेंट आएगा मैं पढ़ाऊंगा, एक भी स्टूडेंट अगर कंटिन्यू कर गया तो मैं बैच फिनिश करूंगा. That's it. And thanks for your appreciations. Keep learning, keep smiling. शिबू, शिबू, देखो बेटा क्या होता है. What happens is if you would have been preparing for the CAFR, ITSM or get some pure maths level exams, I will definitely consider over the things. But here for just observation, what actually being observed is, suppose that this is numerator some alpha, this is denominator some beta. Here I have alpha by beta. I try to get, ध्यान से समझना, मेरी जितनी समझदारी है उतनी बोल रहा हूँ, बाकी बता नहीं. I try to get the approximation कि what I can have this value Fair. When I taught you epsilon delta definition, there I taught you कि we try to find the like bad or the most like sorrowful days of our life. मतलब we try to counter the things. So suppose that we got idea कि this value could be 1 by 2 something like. So my mind clicked कि let us take some value less than 1 by 2. And obviously then I will say, so here you can take some value 1 by 4, 1 by 8. So thing is, intuition is coming from where? Intuition is coming from the approximation of this number. तो मैंने बोला था ना एप्सिलॉन डेल्टा में हम दुर्दिन देखने की कोशिश करेंगे, बुरे से बुरा दिन क्या हो सकता है. So you can take, मतलब आप एप्सिलॉन इक्वल्स टू 1 by 2 लेंगे या 1 by 2 से कोई बड़ा ले लिया, obviously this will be satisfied. But if you choose epsilon का value less than 1 by 2, then this will be encountered. Got it? Shivu, Jai Shival. And why we have done these things, right? So that is why when I started the real analysis, I told you the Archimedian property and completeness property. याद आया अभी? याद आया कुछ? तो उसमें जो एनर्जी डाल रहे थे वो हमने मजाक में नहीं डाली थी. ठीक, हर चीज का मीनिंग था. हाँ, ऑनेस्ट रिव्यू यही है कि इस टाइप के क्वेश्चंस को अगर एक दो बार आप प्रैक्टिस करके याद रिकॉल एंड रिटेन नहीं करेंगे तो परफॉर्म करना टफ रहेगा. ठीक है अभी. तो डेफिनेशन वाला एग्जांपल टू क्लियर ऑल. अमित कुमार, शुभम चौबे, शिबू, कनिष्क, एवरीवन. How we will do the example if that is done by the definition itself. Although there are some alternative ways as well. No one is forcing you to follow this method only. But we are developing our concepts. So for each concept we are trying to have an example. Right? Sure. So let's have next example now. Just wait a minute, please. Write the next example too. Prove that the sequence Fn, where Fnx is x upon 1 plus n square x square, x being real, this sequence converges uniformly on any closed interval I. Fair? Sure. So let's answer. For all real numbers, that comes out as 0. देखिए ध्यान से, अब क्या होगा इसमें, अगर आप देखें, दिस इज द स्टेप 2। अब बहुत आसान काम है, देखिए ध्यान से, हियर now it is just a maxima minima finding problem of function in the interval I, right? So maximum minima कैसे निकालते हो बताइए जल्दी से। बच्चा लोग की तरह एकदम, एफ डैश को 0 पुट करना पड़ेगा, एफ डैश को 0 पुट करोगे तो क्या मिलेगा, 1 प्लस एन स्क्वायर एक्स स्क्वायर का होल स्क्वायर, इधर में पुट कर दो, इधर स्पेस नहीं। x square equals to 1 by n square, that means x equals to 1 by n, plus minus you can take, not an issue at all. So at x equals to, हमने क्या चेक कर लिया अभी, f डबल डैश nx का चेक, साइन ऑफ f डबल डैश nx at x equals to plus minus nx, we get less than 0, so maximum at, right? So this is the exercise which you need to do here, just like a child, इसमें कोई इश्यू नहीं है। now x equals to 1 by n ले लेंगे, so this will be 1 by n upon 1 plus, क्या मिल जाएगा ये, 1, right? so 1 by 2n, check it out। nx स्क्वायर था, अच्छा हमने n स्क्वायर ले लिया, इनके पास nx स्क्वायर ले रखा था, कोई दिक्कत नहीं, रत्ती भर भी तनाव नहीं है। एग्जांपल उन्होंने जो लिया था 1 अपॉन 1 x अपॉन 1 प्लस nx स्क्वायर लिया था, अपने n स्क्वायर ले लिया, इसलिए अपने को ऐसा हो गया। कोई दिक्कत किसी को, ये सब झूठ मूठ का तमाशा है, किसी ने भी अगर गलत क्वेश्चन करके आए तो बहुत पीटूंगा मैं, ठीक है? इतना झूठ मूठ का तमाशा होता है, बट हाँ ये अंडरस्टैंडिंग नहीं थी पहले, तो इसलिए कई बार दिक्कत आ जाती थी कि क्या सुप्रीमम है, फिर बच्चे थोड़े बड़े हो गए, यार सुप्रीमम क्या है, मैक्सिमम वैल्यू तो मांगा है, निकाल लो उसका मैक्सिमम, किसने मना किया? तो कई बार ये एक्सरसाइज किए बिना ऑब्जर्व करके यहाँ पर बता देगा तो अपने को बुखार नहीं आएगा, क्योंकि अपने तो मेथड सीख लिया है। बताओ किसका सुप्रीमम चाहिए, एक फंक्शन ही तो है। ये झूठ मूठ के तमाशे से करना नहीं है अपने को। नोट कर लीजिए आराम से। नोटेड, आराम से लिख लीजिए। Is that written? Okay, yes. Chale. Let's have one more example to substantiate everything. Test uniform convergence tell me what to do now. आराम से एकदम. See, whenever you will be solving the problems, the very first step where you may get panic, here what is the general term? So this practice we have been doing from sequences itself, writing the nth term. So that is the first stair. Second stair, observing about Mn, because we are gonna have the series Mn here, right? So this observation again has no rule. क्या? Has no rule. It will be done on observations. ठीक है? So practice examples as simple as possible. Up now, whenever you will have the series, this is convergent or not, take help of tests from infinite series previous lecture. So मेरा काम है एक बच्चे की तरह आपको छोटी छोटी चीजों से अवगत कराना, आपको ये फील कराना कि यूनिफॉर्म कन्वर्जेंस में इफ यू आर क्लियर अबाउट द डेफिनेशंस, द जॉब इज सॉर्टेड. Whatever the मनरेगा मजदूरी you have to do, that is required for infinite series के all tests. If you have remembered all those tests, then such observations becomes very easy. So don't forget to solve all examples from the PDF for sequences and series. Again I would like to tell you, पहले आप इसको लिख लीजिए. मतलब जहां जहां आप फंसते हैं ना, वो फीलिंग्स में शेयर करने की कोशिश कर रहा हूं. Is that done? What saying? शिवू जय शिवम, क्या समस्या? सर 1 प्लस एक्स पावर 2n को कैसे मैनेज किया? अच्छा शिव देखो ध्यान से, Shivu, everyone, not only Shivu. This is 2 ka power n, that is reflected here. This is 1 plus x ka power 2n. Here. So if I observe कि यहाँ पर if I would have 2 power n into x का power 2n divided by x, it could be right or not. But there may be n number of ways to think. Here it is 1 plus x का power 2n. Now x lying between 1 by minus 1 by 2 say plus 1 by 2. Now try to observe what could be this value. And since x is coming from this, so what could be this whole value? Whether it is lying between this alpha, whatever you have taken this alpha lying between this, or not. So again I would like to tell you, here there is no standard rule. It will depend on your mind thinking like child. Okay? Again, this thinking like child does not come into the dream. For this, we need to solve different examples, then summarizing the learnings out of that, writing at a page and revising those on multiple times. Then you will feel कि अच्छा ऐसे निकल सकते हैं. At the lecture 1 or at the first stage, only I am trying to give you how the method works, and to get that method done, what are the observations you need to have. Is that clear, Shivu? चलिए. Now I would like to tell you, to suggest you something. What Shivu? क्या? Yes, obviously it requires practice. चलिए देखिए ध्यान से. You on the board, please. So when I लिखना नहीं है, बस सुन लीजिए. Sequences infinite series uniform convergence. ठीक है. These 3 chapters. इसके बाद हम पढ़ेंगे convergence of improper integrals. Convergence of improper integrals. इसका तो टाइप्ड डॉक्यूमेंट रेडी है. ठीक है. That I will share. For these things, somehow it could not be managed as typed document. So I have shared 3 chapters from the book Malik Arora. Okay, mathematical analysis. इसका PDFs I have already shared for these 2 chapters. ये वाला today I will share. What happens if you study these chapters from this book without attending lecture? You will be trapped. You will be simply wasting your energy and time on unnecessary stuff. So what I suggest you, whatever the theoretical understanding, plus supportive examples for this we have done here. बट होगा क्या, इस पीडीएफ के अंदर में जो एग्जांपल्स हैं, ठीक है, ओनली एग्जांपल्स, आई एम नॉट सेइंग अबाउट एक्सरसाइज, even when I will be like getting that document typed, maximum of the examples will be reflected from this book itself. Again I will say, I am not some scientist or some kind of mathematician कि मैं अपना कुछ लेकर आऊंगा और इधर में हीरो बन जाऊंगा करके, not at all. Being a trainer, being a teacher, being a UPSC aspirant, whatever the experience I carry, whatever my observation says, if examples from this book or any of the book you have at university level, मुझे लगता है ऑन एन एवरेज सारी बुक्स में वही एग्जांपल्स इधर उधर घुमा के दिए होते हैं, और यूपीएससी में भी ये ऐसा मैंने पैटर्न ऑब्जर्व किया है। केवल कॉसी सीक्वेंसेस के दो एग्जांपल अलग से बनाए हैं, जिनको हम पीवाईक्यूज में जब डिस्कस करेंगे, वी विल हैव अ पीवाईक्यूज सेशन day after tomorrow. I will give hint over that. Otherwise, these examples are enough. So for particular these three chapters, only selected examples over which I have given you the explanations in the theoretical lecture. Solve those examples by heart. Practice those examples by heart. If you come across any doubt, do let me know. I will explain those as well. But please avoid the words which I said here. Even uniform convergence के अंदर भी you will go for, अभी मैं शेयर कर दूंगा उस PDF को. Try to solve those examples now. You will have no issue while attending those examples. But I will strongly suggest prepare a mind map, ठीक है, containing observations while solving examples, है ना, बहुत ज्यादा तो नहीं होंगे. If some necessary point where you feel, जैसे अभी हमने डेफिनेशन वाला काम किया था, if you feel like कि यार ये कुछ ऐसा है जो मुझे समझ नहीं आ रहा है या कुछ टक्स टाइप का है यहाँ पर, तो उसका पॉइंटर बना लीजिए. हार्डली आपके पास 10 से 11 पॉइंट्स मिलेंगे if you solve all these three chapters का example, and you have to revise those 2-3 times. That is the only way to prepare in right way, what I feel. Otherwise हीरो बनने के लिए मैं कुछ भी बोल सकता हूँ करके, ठीक है. So I always think like you, my dear fellows. So I guess it's enough for today. है ना, काम हुआ या नहीं हुआ? शिबू जायसवाल, अभी you are satisfied or not? उस दिन तो तुम बहुत पैनिक कर गए थे. पैनिक नहीं करना है, ठीक है. मतलब कई बार कुछ ऐसा मतलब इमरजेंसी में काम आ जाता है तो मुझे खुद को बर्डन फील होता है, मैं तुरंत आप लोग को मैसेज करता हूँ. लेकिन लेटर ऑन मुझे लग रहा है कि मैं ठीक बैलेंस कर ले गया जितना कुछ प्रॉमिस किया होगा. शिबू, काम ठीक चल रहा है नहीं चल रहा है? चलिए, कल हम लोग कन्वर्जेंस ऑफ इम्प्रॉपर इंटीग्रल करेंगे और उसके बाद एक कहानी बचेगी रीमान इंटीग्रेशन. बस रियल एनालिसिस में फंक्शंस वाला काम हम ऑलरेडी कर चुके हैं डिफरेंशियल कैलकुलस में, तो किसी के दिमाग में ये फितूल नहीं होना चाहिए कि सर अभी फंक्शंस वाला बचा है. मुझ पर छोड़िए, मैं उसको समराइज करूंगा. डिफरेंशियल कैलकुलस में ऑलरेडी वी हैव डन द थिंग्स सफिशिएंटली. तो मोटा मोटी कल हम कन्वर्जेंस ऑफ इम्प्रॉपर इंटीग्रल करेंगे, उसके बाद रीमान इंटीग्रेशन पर एक लेक्चर हमारा रहेगा. ऑलमोस्ट चीजें हो जाएंगी हमारी रियल एनालिसिस में, क्योंकि हमने डिफरेंशियल कैलकुलस को भी एनालिसिस पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू से समराइज करते हुए पढ़ा है, इसीलिए हमें वहां ज्यादा लेक्चर्स लगे. ठीक है, तो पैनिक नहीं करेंगे. बस पीवाईक्यूज फाइल आपको दे रखी है मैंने. ट्राई टू ऑब्जर्व वेदर थिंग्स आर अलाइन्ड सिस्टमैटिकली और नॉट. सो कीप लर्निंग, कीप स्माइलिंग. गुड लक फ्रॉम माय साइड. मैं पीडीएफ शेयर कर देता हूँ. इम्प्रॉपर इंटीग्रल वाला पीडीएफ रेडी है, वो तो मैंने टाइप करा दिया था पहले. बस ये 3 चैप्टर नहीं होगा, रीमान भी नहीं होगा, ये 4 चैप्टर नहीं होगा. सर पावर सीरीज नहीं है क्या सिलेबस में? पावर सीरीज है सिलेबस में। कहाँ गया है, क्या नाम है, कनिष्क जोशी। इफ यू ऑब्जर्व द डिफरेंशियल कैलकुलस का लेक्चर्स, जब मैंने टेलर्स पढ़ाया है तो पावर सीरीज का इंट्रोडक्शन वहां पर किया है। ठीक है, अगर आपने वो डिफरेंशियल वाले लेक्चर्स नहीं लिए होंगे तो कोई दिक्कत नहीं है, पावर सीरीज फिर से आएगा। ठीक है, फिर से आएगा क्योंकि हम कॉम्प्लेक्स एनालिसिस में भी टेलर्स और लॉरेंट्स पढ़ते हैं। ठीक है, तो मेरा पढ़ाने का थोड़ा तरीका अलग है, चीजों को कुछ भी कहीं छूटेगा नहीं, ये मैं गारंटी दे रहा हूँ। लेकिन हाँ, चीजों को डिजाइन मैंने अपने हिसाब से किया है ताकि मनरेगा मजदूरी थोड़ी कम की जाए। ठीक, ओके कनिष्क, शॉर्टेड, ओके, गुड नाइट। फिर कनिष्क, बाकी अगर आपने कैलकुलस का लेक्चर नहीं लिया होगा तो बोलेंगे तो मैं कल के बाद नहीं, परसों में वापस से एक बार पावर सीरीज कर दूंगा, नॉट एन इशू, कोई दिक्कत। चलिए, और किसी का कोई डाउट? ओके, शुभम चौबे, ओके, गुड नाइट, गुड नाइट एवरीवन। एनीवन, एनी डाउट, और shall we wind up? चलो, बाय।